presentation for volunteers of the month.
We do at this time, Mr. Chairman, would like to recognize the Scott County Schools October Volunteers of the Month. As always, we are so thankful for the time, dedication you give the students of Scott County. First, we have from Birchfield Elementary is Mr. Larry Wilson.
He's finishing up his bus run, sir.
Fairview Elementary is Montana Ranta and Tara Phillips. Huntsville Middle is Misty Beatty. Robbins Elementary, Lindsay Terry. Scott High School, Craig Martin. Winfield Elementary, Bill Hatfield and Douglas Wilson. So, Mr. Chairman, we have no one present tonight, so that concludes our presentations for the Volunteers of the Month.
Do we have any reports from principals? No, thank you. Director?
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you very much. Would like to thank everyone. We had a very successful parent-teacher conferences on Monday and Tuesday this week. We have some of the numbers. I know one of the schools had 76% of their parents that showed for that night. Don't have the rest of the numbers in, but as soon as we get those in, I'll let you guys know. Again, very successful parent-teacher conference. I also want to thank the principals, third grade teachers, board members, and anyone that was available for our third grade retention law meeting yesterday. Got some very good information that we gave out to the parents. Also, as soon as our meeting was over, I received a phone call from Representative Kelly Kiesling, who had also was telling me he met with Chairman White the day before, and that Chairman White, who is the chair of the Educational House Committee, said that we do need to make some changes, some revisions to this bill. So hopefully some things are in motion and we can get some revisions made for the third grade retention law. You do have on your desk tonight a packet from I think Ms. Terry Keaton from the Operation Warm. It's with Miss Lee, Bill Lee's First Lady, Governor Lee's wife. Our schools, the Oneida schools, and some schools in Morgan County, there's 25 schools total, will be receiving a free coat, pre-K through 8 this year in Scott County schools. So on that day, some of y'all are available. We'll meet over Huntsville Elementary like from 11:40 till 12:15. I think some media will be there at that time. So that's where I will be meeting with them, with Miss Lee also at that time. It's a great opportunity for our kids. Very thankful for the initiative for the First Lady, Miss Lee. Also a reminder to the principals and staff, we have a principals meeting in the morning at 9 a.m. The Robbins Fairview football team is playing tonight. It's kickoff 7 p.m. at Cofield. It is a semifinal round for the middle school playoffs. The winner of that game will play in the finals. I believe the finals are next Saturday. Is that correct, Mr. Cash?
Yes, I think 12.
You have a time for that yet?
I think it's 12.
12 o'clock if they win tonight. Let's hope for the best for the Robbins Fairview Middle School football team. Scott High School also has 2 home games remaining this week versus Gatlinburg Pittman, and next week will be senior night versus Anderson County. And Mr. Chairman, that's all I have unless y'all have any questions for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We need to go through all this.
No.
Okay. In accordance with board policy number 1.403, the Scott County School Board should adopt an agenda of all items to be acted upon during the regular monthly meeting of October 20th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye. Okay, item number 7, background. In accordance with the Scott County Board of Education policy number 4.403, The Board of Education may include routine and non-controversial items on the consent agenda, which may be adopted by a single vote without discussion. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed and placed on the regular agenda for further consideration at the request of any board member. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Vote on roll call.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Item 8A, in pursuant to Board Policy Number 2.201, the Scott County School Board of Education needs to approve budget amendments required to balance the budget for the fiscal year 2022 and 23. This action will allow funds to be applied to areas of the budget that lack sufficient funds to complete the school year. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Item 8B, a memorandum of understanding is needed between the school system and the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? No, we'll do the roll call.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
TSBA updates are online board policies. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on roll call.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
This is just a renewed.
Yes, we renew this every year of the same amount. There has not been a price.
Did it list the amount?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I didn't read it.
3,500.
Just read that one. The new one or?
No, you just start now.
The school nutrition has received funds from those who aided with gathering and submitting EBT eligibility data and worked on student-parent appeals during the past year. The total amount of money received is $3,135, and this to be distributed among these employees. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Aye. Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on roll call.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
You got $3.
Okay. We have a list of trips. Board approval is needed for out-of-state overnight school trips. Listed below are several. Would you look at those and welcome a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, vote on roll call.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
That brings us to 8F. Jenny Burris and Melinda Gibson will personally be billed for subsidy insurance. The board will reimburse them the local percent each month. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, if not, roll call.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Okay, item 8G, the Scott County School Board would like to donate $10,000 to Operation Share for contributions made to the Scott County schools. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll go for roll call.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Brings us to 8H. In order to continue our sponsorship of the Imagination Library, the Scott County Board of Education must approve payment of a $2,000 annual donation.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
That brings us to item 8. The Scott County Board of Education needs to approve the district and Scott High School's handbook. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
And I will say this will be retroactive once it's approved back to the beginning of the school year. So this is the 2022-2023 school year.
Okay. No discussion, then we'll put it on roll call.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Increase life insurance policy. Motion to increase the life insurance policy for all Scott County schools employees from $10,000 to $20,000.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Okay, brings us to 8K. The Finance Committee opened bids for Counseling and Mental Health Department, AWARE, and referred them to the board. Do we have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on roll call.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Item 8K, motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
We need to, when is our next work session?
The second.
Thanks.
Second.
November the 2nd.
Second.
We need to, put on the items to discuss during the work session is our director's contract, so, we need to be discussing that and, let him get started on our contract. Now, you deal with Mr. Beatty on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to get that started and have that discussion so we can add that to the next agenda. If not, we're gonna fall behind. Okay?
Do that at the recruiting.
Because, I mean, this is November,
Oh, it's Mr. Beatty if we can.
so we got to get that discussed, and if there's any kind of discussion back and forth between the board and director. We'll do that. He presents us, some of the new ones may not understand, he presents us with contract. He gets through with Mr. Beatty, we look at it, and basically will and deal, so to speak, back and forth. Is that correct? So we need to get,
I've seen him talk to Mr. Bailey.
we need to get started with that, okay?
Low.
Got it. Never mind.
That's all I got.
Any other discussion?
I'm sorry, Mr. Hammond, you have some representatives with you here tonight?
Yeah, I've got
Could you
two,
introduce them for us, please?
well, I like them all. These are fine representatives, 11th graders, Miss Rachel Garrett, Mr. Hayden Blevins has agreed to take part in some of this process, come and be at some work sessions and board meetings, and just excited that their willingness. I kind of gauged some of the 11th grade faculty. I said, hey, what do you think? And they were highly recommended. I'm glad they're here. So this is Hayden Blevins. He, with his extracurriculars are cross-country track and soccer, right? Miss Garrett is basketball, soccer. Is that it? Yep. But we're just glad to have them.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you again. That's it? Okay, ladies.
I had mentioned about a month ago that I would like for us to start maybe once a month, going to a different school, looking around. Would it be possible maybe after the retreat, or is that too much
Absolutely.
for
No,
one
I'll work
day?
with, during that time, on the schedule. That's a good thing.
Have you scheduled the retreat yet?
Yeah, 25th,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, 25th.
Tuesday.
Is that bad for you?
Well, isn't that the day we're supposed to go to the schools for the codes? Are we having it this
Oh, we
afternoon?
got morning, we'll be that morning.
Okay.
We should be good by then.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. And another thing that's creating a lot of discussion and questions is about next year, the football team.
Mhm.
We gonna go with one
That's
team
what
or
we'll,
two
that's
teams
what we'll
or?
discuss at the retreat.
Okay.
Last night during the thing for the third graders, did you say something about a petition?
Ms. Sharp asked about a petition, if it could be done. It can be. I mean, we'll have to send it to our representatives at our, but I mentioned tonight that Mr. Keeson said there would be, they are gonna look at making some revisions to the law.
Right.
Uh,
Do you think we might find that out when we go to the conference in Nashville?
I hope. I can't answer that right now. Yeah.
So at this point, you see no need to start a petition?
It can't hurt, okay?
Is that something each school can come up with on their own?
Each school can do it on their
Or
own.
does John Beatty need to get it together?
No, each school can do something on their own. I would have more, carry more weight with parents, you know, they're voters,
Right.
honestly. And like I said, I think the phone calls to representatives, to senators will do probably as much. They're hearing from across the state, from parents, from educators, and from superintendents. So, and like I said, he did meet with the educational chairman, he said yesterday. I mean, 10 minutes after we finished our meeting, he calls. I mean, just coincidentally, but he called.
So if each principal wanted to start a petition for their school, they could let the parents know that they
No,
want to come
absolutely.
in?
And we would like some revisions made to the law.
Right,
It will be
and they
next
could just let the
to-
parents know they
Yes.
can stop by the
Yes.
office and sign that, okay.
I just forgot about Reed.
Yeah.
Have anything, girls?
Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
I'll get a motion.
Second.
And I just want to say, I am really happy to see our students here. We want to know how you feel, the things that, the concerns that you have, and the things that you would like to see done in your school. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you giving us your time.
Now, don't be backwards or bashful, speak up.
If that's it, we'll.
Okay, I got it.
No.
Call everybody back.
Okay, hold on a second.
Got a vote.
Didn't take the vote.
Ms. Terry?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm trying to get this.